Boom. That's a little better, I think. Tough game, but I believe we'll see the Dogs again in Atlanta. I don't think Tennessee is going to see them in Atlanta. Um, Tennessee is, they're in the same division, obviously. So it'll probably be Georgia and Alabama again in Atlanta. That would be my guess. First of all, can you hear me? Just curious. This is my very first live that I've done on YouTube. But I'm amazed that, wow, Georgia played the perfect game. Not only that, the fans were phenomenal. I've been involved in SEC football for a long, long time. I've never seen the Georgia fans that rabid. They were amazing, and congrats to them. They deserve a big part of that that win. Wow, they were terrific. They really were. Hang on a sec. The slide is still. Sound is good. Thanks. Hang on just a sec. I'm just going to adjust this light again. Hang on. There we go. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, it works a little better, I think. Yeah. So where are you from, Raven? Raven Leader. It sounds like an F-14 pilot. Just Raven Leader. Clear. Requesting a flyby. Pattern is full, Raven Leader. Pattern is full. When you pop in, please say hi. I would appreciate it. Just let me know who you are, what you're thinking, what you think about the game today. Obviously, Tennessee got their ass handed to them in a big way today. And while I'm a little disappointed, look, I'm not brokenhearted. I'm just not. I think Tennessee is a couple of years ahead of schedule, really. And clearly, they weren't ready for prime time in that particular setting in Athens. Wow. Because that was just a beat down. It truly was. But at the end of the day, Tennessee is 8-1. A lot of good football left. I got distracted there a little bit. If I'm a fan of Rambo First Blood, you'll understand it. South of Cookville. I don't get the reference. I am a fan of Rambo First Blood, but I don't. Was there a Cookville reference in there? A long time ago since I've seen it. But the main thing is that, Georgia got some vindication. And I talked about this with one of my listeners this week. It was probably the most astute comment that I had on the podcast. And it was very simply this. They said, Tennessee has not had a shit game yet, And I said, you know what, you're 100% correct. And I'm scared of that myself. Now, most of the time, a shit game is is dictated by the other team, and that's exactly what happened today. They got beat on in every phase of the game. They got the game plan that was thrown at them, beat them down. They got beat on offense. They got beat on defense. They got beat on special teams. They just got a beat down, and today wasn't their day, and they got the hell beat out of them. It was a good old fashioned ass whooping, right? Let me see who else is here. Reminder. Props to the Georgian secondary and fans. They were the difference. That secondary, I got to tell you, that secondary was amazing. I am a believer in those guys. Holy crackers. I mean, they were fantastic. I mean, it's real, that Georgia secondary. Wow. Particularly at number 5, Ringo, is that his name? Man, that guy's a hoss. Oh, Raymond, it sure did. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question it did. And we always knew it's no secret that our defensive secondary is very weak, very weak. And it appears that the game plan was to stop that tight end, number 19, the Bowers guy, and we did that. Unfortunately, we didn't stop anybody else. Ouch. And you're 100% correct, Remander. Am I saying it properly? I hope. Is it Remander or Remander? Should I roll my R's when I say it, like Remander? Or what? How would you like me? Remander, correct? There's nothing more embarrassing is when no rolling of the R. Okay, you don't want that. I kind of like it's such fun though to roll your R's, Remander. But I'll spare you. And yes, to your point, that's the worst I've ever seen Hooker play. And again, that is dictated by the defense. They just had a great game plan. Just from soup to nuts, they had a great game plan. And they just dismantled them. And if you read my comments, if you saw, the 2 or 3 podcasts that I had this week, I said, and I particularly said this in the comments when I responded to people, hey, they're going to kill them. Yeah, well, they may kill them. And the only way they will kill them is if they stop their offense. And until they stop their offense, it's just bullshit talk, right? It ain't. They stop the offense. Now, what I think will be interesting moving forward is to see exactly what will happen. Can other people do what they did? And it seems what they did with their corners and safeties is just say, you know what? You're not getting behind me. I'll give you that up yonder, up front of me, but you're not getting behind me. And I'm wondering if it was the game plan that was so successful, or was it the game plan in combo with the talent of that secondary who was actually able to play them man-to-man? Because another team, for example, Missouri or Vanderbilt, or, who else we have left? We have South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Missouri left. Do they have the talent to run that same scheme against them? Probably not. I was very impressed. Romano, not sure other teams can do that. Yeah. Bama played man-to-man, but lots of space opened up. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good call. You're absolutely right. Remander, where are you from? What area? Are you in Tennessee? Louisville. Well, you're not far. You're not far from Nashville. That's where I am. Is in Nashville. I've been to Louisville a couple times. Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's rolling into basketball time up there around where you live, isn't it? And I've already taken a couple of beatings here on my, in my notes, in my comments. You know, I find it so funny. People are always willing to come and talk shit, but they're never they're never willing to put themselves out there and explain their position on the front end, right? Um, Providing UT finishes 11-0, which I believe they will. That's a good question. Now, see, I thought, 11-1. I thought that if they lost to Georgia, that they would drop to 3-4, unless they got their ass handed to them, and then I thought that they would drop out of the top 4, and I had no idea that they could get their ass handed to them. I thought that they might get beat, or that was a possibility. I didn't think they were. I thought they were going to win. But in the way that they lost today, I mean, they got manhandled. It wouldn't surprise me if Tuesday they're 5 or 6 or even 7, for that matter. Georgia is elite. They recruit elite players. Tennessee just got humbled like Oregon and Michigan. Yeah, I was very surprised, when people kept telling me, and you learn something about this every time you do it, people kept telling me, they're not going to do that on Kirby Smart's watch on his defense. Well, where'd Kirby Smart learn his defense? He learned it from Satan, right? That's where he learned it. And that's what he does. I think he's just got better players than Satan. He certainly does there in the back, in the secondary. Man, those guys were so good today. Now, I don't know. Now, see, here's the quandary, though. See, I think there's a lot of things going on today that went into that game. Number one, the game plan. Okay. Number two, I think they were really pissed off and emotionally high because of they really kind of got stiffed on the college football playoff rankings. And I think they were really pissed about that. I think they felt like they got shafted. Not only the players and coaches, but the fans did too. And the fans showed up. God love them. I'm just going to give them some love right now. They showed up. And I did not think that they were going to be as big a player in that game as they turned out to be. Eric Ainge, who used to be a quarterback for a few years at Tennessee, he was broadcasting all week about, in fact, I retweeted him just today. He was broadcasting about how, man, I played there 2 different times, and playing at Sanford Field or in Athens, it's no big deal, man. Those people don't show up. They're not very loud, and if things go bad, they leave. That wasn't what happened today, right? Was not what happened. Right. I remember Uncle G. I remember that Kirby that's where he played. Man, I just can't say enough. I can't. Well, but hi Rob, thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming in. I don't think no. I'm not gonna go the rain. Oh, if there hadn't rained, we'd have won. No, we got our ass beat. There's no way we were gonna win that football game today under the circumstances in which it was played. We were playing against a bunch of warriors with their hair on fire. Not only was their hair on fire, the fans' hair was on fire. They were mad. How dare you take that number one spot away from us? I don't blame them. I would have preferred, and I said this in the very first show of the week, I would have preferred that Tennessee had been number 4. Well, actually number 3, because they just weren't ready for that situation. They weren't ready to go into Georgia, the national champs, and then being pissed off and feeling shafted. They just weren't ready. And you're right, Isaiah. You shut down Oregon and you shut down Tennessee in an embarrassing way. And congratulations. Go Dogs. No excuses. We got an ass whooping and a beat down today. Yeah, Ramander, I do too. It's just always better for the psyche. And I was building up this game all week as being the best game of the year. No one. It was the best game of the year for Georgia, but it really wasn't the best game for anybody else except for Georgia and the fans. That was just a little revenge thing. Okay. Normally, a revenge game in college football is last year we played at your house and you beat us. And this year you're at our house and we're going to beat you. But that wasn't the deal this time. This was a revenge game to punish the college football playoff committee. That's what that was today. They not only they were beating up the college football playoff committee, and Tennessee just happened to be the recipient. Isaiah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, Georgia and Bama will play in the SEC. And assuming that they will take 2 SEC teams, Alabama wins. You know what? I don't know. I don't know that. You know what? I don't know. I don't think so. See, Georgia would have to win in the SEC game for Tennessee to get a shot at the one of the playoff spots, I think. Because if Georgia and Alabama play in the SEC and Alabama wins, that's going to give Georgia 1 loss. And then Tennessee will have 1 loss. But they're going to jump over Tennessee because Georgia beat Tennessee in such a humiliating way. So I really do believe that you know what? A lot of it depends on what happens here behind me at this LSU game. If LSU beats Alabama, Alabama's out of it. And then Tennessee may have a claim to the top 4. I don't know. But we're going to see. If Georgia beats Alabama, Rob Davis, I think so. Yeah, I'm an LSU fan today too. But my numbers, I've got Alabama winning that game. Um, unfortunately. Let me go back here. I saw Rob, you said something. It contributed to PR. They had our timing down. They should have moved fast and delayed snap, disrupt 4-3 show. Yeah, I mean everything that they did, everything that Tennessee did looked wrong. And it wasn't that they were doing wrong. They were forced into doing those things, those wrong things, in my opinion. That's what it looked like to me. It just did not look like the same team. And Hooker was just not his same self. I don't know whether he was hurt or scared or couldn't meet the moment, or he just held on to the ball way too long. And they just, again, it's probably had a lot to do with the crowd, wasn't able to, communicate with everybody. It was baffling. And there's nothing to think about. There's absolutely nothing to go, well, if we'd have just, no. This is the time for us to just shut the F up and take our ass whooping, be proud of the fact that we're 8-1. We learned a lot today about where we need to go recruit. But of course, they probably know that anyway, right? And like me, for example, people, oh, you're stupid. You ought to take your picks and shove them up your ass. Well, actually, I'm 8-1 with Tennessee, and similar with other teams. You're going to lose sometimes. You're just going to lose. It's going to happen. What makes it worse is that when it's an ass kicking like today, that just hurts a whole lot. Let me see what else we got here, Isaiah. We had 10 sacks all year, but 7 sacks today. Right. This was just, you know what this was? It was kind of like some alien force kind of, I don't know, infused into the whole Georgia organism, coaches, players, fans, right? And they did stuff today that they've not done before. Now, I know, Isaiah, you talked about the Oregon game, but typically being the first game of the season, it seems like Georgia has gone like this since that game. I mean, look at the Missouri game. I mean, really? 26-22 against Missouri? Really? That wasn't the team that played Missouri that was out there playing Tennessee today, right? So they stepped up like crazy. And listen, I am not hurt. I'm not mad. I kind of giggle when people come in. Oh, you take these things, you shove them up your butt. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it reminds me of this. There's an old thing about a professor. He goes up to the chalkboard and he goes, 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times blah, 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 blah. And all the way down to 9 times 9. And he put 120. And then the whole class started dying laughing. Oh, you're such an idiot. He's going, what's wrong? What do you mean? 9 times 9 is not 120, you idiot. And he said, oh, I see. I get 1 wrong out of 10, which is an A. And that's what you're going to focus on. But, that's kind of the nature of putting yourself out there and handicapping. I love handicapping football. I just love it. It's just so fun. It's just so calming. It's so nerdy. But I'm not hurt. I'm not sad. I'm not even mad. I'm sad for the team, but not really, because they just weren't ready to be there yet. Right? They're going to end up 11-1, and to go from 3-7, where that ass Pruitt left them, and all that scandal, not even 2 years ago, right? To go from that to now and be 8-1 and probably 11-1 and be in at least the New Year's 6, that is huge. I mean, it's just huge. Rob Davis, ain't Sunday, but preach it. It's always Sunday where I come from, Rob. Always. I grew up in them tent revivals, brother. I can talk that stuff. Those people are my people. Give me some snakes. Let's see, Isaiah. Ugga can be misleading unless you know Ugga sometimes plays down competition, which isn't good. I don't necessarily know what that means, Isaiah. Love your analysis. Just discovered you. Rob, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I was reminded that now, see, a lot of people don't know this in my situation. I was one of those stupid morning radio zoo guys, Rockett in the morning for a long time. And then I actually had the first internet radio company called radioplex.com. This is back in I talked to 1998. I talked to a friend of mine today. He texted me right before the kickoff, and he said, "Let's go Vols." And he was back there with me when I was doing this, the very first one of its kind. And I had like 9 listeners. And the only way you could listen, because most people, you would have to have a T1 line, and those things were like $1,000 a month. So only businesses could listen to me that had a T1 line where they were using in their businesses, and and everybody else had to listen on dial-up, right? So this friend of mine, Tom Zinner, who's a big sportscaster in Los Angeles, used to be my sports guy on my radio show. Okay. And he sent me a text today. Soon as they were getting ready to line it up for the kickoff, he said, "Let's go Vols." And I said, it's been a long time coming, this podcast, because shortly after that, I started having some heart problems. This was 20 years ago. And long story short, I finally had to have open heart surgery this past January, 9 months ago. So I have been trying to get this launched and relaunched and running again for 5 years, a long time. And just about when something, I started getting my foot in the ground again, then COVID hit. And then I was still having problems with the heart thing and blah, blah, blah. And then I guess the Lord stepped in last January and said, "Hey, guess what? Feel this." Oh, geez. So I had to have emergency triple bypass surgery. And so I've been spending the last 9 months recovering from that thing. And yes, it hurt. And so it's just great to be back, right? And the prognosis is excellent. And I just relaunched this a week ago. And 11,000 views on the first one. Well, actually, not true. Kentucky was the first one. I started it a week Saturday with the Kentucky game. And I got 3,000 views on that one. And I won that one, by the way, just so you know. It happened exactly like I said, only the defense showed up and played pretty well. And then this one, I had the whole week to work it or sent to Wednesday. And so there you go. So we got 11,000 views. And so I'm kind of learning how to, they already started running commercials on that particular video. So typically that means they see that you are going to be monetized at some point in the near future. And so now I kind of got myself a job making these videos, and they won't all be sports stuff. It will be a lot of pop culture stuff as well. Because, when you do morning radio, you got to have opinions about shit, right? and I'm old enough now to the point where I don't give a shit what you think about it. I'm going to say it, right? I'm sorry, I got distracted. I wanted you to know a little bit about me. So that's the thing. I'm freshly recovered, and I'm not 100% recovered, because I think really it takes about a year to really get on the other side of that. But I'm mostly recovered. I mean, I'm going to the gym now and running and jumping rope, and I'm fully active. Isaiah says, oh, wait a minute, I missed Adam Lee. I was reminded tonight of when UT football years ago, not showing to play. I can handle losing a hard-fought game, but not showing up to play is inexcusable. I'm not sure what you mean, Adam. Can you develop that thought a little bit more? Are you saying that Tennessee didn't show up and that's inexcusable? Is that what I'm to take from that comment? I love Josh Heupel. He feels like Uga first hired Kirby Smart. Yeah. I would agree with that. David Franklin. So much for them. So every day on every podcast, I pick a comment and I pin it. Okay. Because it's like the special comment of the day, right? So today's special comment of the day, was from this fellow right here, David Franklin, who said, so much for what? Type it again for me, David. I don't want to misquote you. It was such a great comment. Now it may not age well now after the results of the game, but it was a great comment. I would have loved Smart at Tennessee when he was available, Isaiah, but it was clear he was waiting for his alma mater. Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. I'm all good. I'm all good. I was concerned with the Mercedes NIL announcement impacting ego this week. I don't know how I feel about that, the whole NIL thing. It seems like to me there's absolutely nothing can be done about it. And so we might as well be the best at it. And so they have this group, I think it's Spire, Spyre, I think, is the group that is handling the NIL for Tennessee. And they are the ones that got the Nico deal put together. They're the ones that got the, technically they're not, because you can't do that. But I would imagine they probably whispered to Nico saying, you might want to come here. There might be $8 million in the basket over there. So yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I would rather it be scholarship, because it's just what NIL is going to do is just turn it into semi-pro ball, right? If not pro light, right? The infamous brown paper bag. That would be the Pruitt bag. Now, did you read this stuff last week or so? That it was Pruitt's wife had her. She was in up to her elbows and all that stuff. Did anybody know this? Am I the only one that didn't know this? But that's what I read in an article about everything that, went on back during those days. Yeah, that's just really sad what happened with all that. And people, a couple things I want to say. Number one, I don't think all of those people that transferred out I think they were made to transfer out, right? Everybody got that impression, or is that just me? And the other thing was, I, 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 I'm so sick of hearing, "Oh, the field goal, it's a wobbly kick. It's wobbly. It's the field goal was tipped, you idiots." And I can see it clear as day. Number 47, I think the guy's number was, got his little pinky on the thing, and it changed the rotation of the ball. Is why it was wobbly. He kicked a wobbler. No, he didn't kick a wobbler. It was blocked, you idiot. Ugh. LSU score? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So let's play what if right now. Oh, come on. Come on, Rob Davis. We're all reprobates. So so if LSU beats Alabama tonight, Raven, I'll get to that in just a second. If LSU beats Alabama tonight, that's going to give Alabama this many. And this many is not good for Alabama to have, right? That pretty much eliminates them from the Final Four. Everybody agree with that, I would think? So what is that going to do? That's going to leave it up to LSU and Ole Miss, right? One of those two would play Georgia in the SEC if LSU beats Alabama tonight. Is that the way y'all see that? Raven Leader, as sometime happens, the beatdown of sorts have some recent commits reconsidering. See, that's the problem of getting too much too soon, right? Because you gotta go back and do some backtracking. You know, they throw us up there at number one. We shouldn't have been number one. I mean, listen to me say that. We should have been number one based on the numbers. See, I'm a numbers guy, and we absolutely should have been there, right? But they're playing with, like I said in the first podcast, he put this team together with spit and rubber bands and duct tape, right? And what an amazing job he's done. But, there's no depth in most of the places. And the secondary is just not very talented. They got big hearts, and I love them to death. They play hard, and they've improved like crazy, but they're just not that talented. So I don't know. I don't know whether recruits are gonna say, "Well, I don't think I want to go there anymore. I thought they were going to win the national championship." They're not coming. I don't. Think about it now. That I don't know that that's going to be a big factor because they're coming to catch those passes. They're coming to shore up the defense that needs shoring up, right? I saw somewhere today where in 2021 they were like 25th or 6th in recruiting. 2022 they're like 20th or 19. 2023 they're like 15 or 16 or something. In 2024 they're top 10. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to take a minute to get some people in here to put a solid team together. So keep the faith. We have a great football program. We have a great football team. Don't let this win change your impression of that. Quick playtime at UT was riding the bench elsewhere. Quick playtime at UT. I don't know what that is. Let me go back and read a couple. Oh, yeah, as far as recruiting. Yeah. I got it. I think the team will play balls out to finish the year to prove the first 8 fans games, I would imagine, weren't a fluke. Correct. Raven, I agree. But you know how fickle young players can be. You're absolutely right. But like I said, we need to slow down. And I think probably once we get over being disappointed today, they'll shake it off and just get on about what their protocol is, and that is business as usual today. Let's just go deal with today. Let's be 1-0 today, right? And deal with the practice in that manner, and then deal with the games in that manner. I tell you what, I don't know who we play next week, either Missouri or South Carolina. I do. I do have a schedule right in front of me here. Whoever it is, I wouldn't want to be them. Missouri. Oh. At Neyland. That's going to be a long trip for them. Right? Ugh. So, any questions that you guys want to ask me while I'm here? And I started to saying enjoying our cocktail, but I forgot to make me a cocktail. The hell? Yes, next week, the last home game, because we go to South Carolina and then we go to Vanderbilt. I've got somebody call me yesterday, a couple days ago, and one of her daughter is affiliated with, she used to be one of the dancers at Vanderbilt for the cheer squad, and said, we can get you tickets if you want to go to Vanderbilt, the game, Tennessee Vanderbilt. I'm going, you know what? I just want to go in that stadium after being at Neyland. Really? I can just lay right here on the sofa and watch it at home. And yeah, I agree with you, Raven. It is a speed bump. I do like brown liquor, but typically vodka and gin is better for diabetics. And so I am borderline diabetic ever since I got out of the hospital. Now, I spent 5 years I used to be really huge, and I lost about 80 pounds. And when I went in the hospital for my heart surgery, I woke up 3 days later and I'm sorry, Mr. Phillips, we got to give you some insulin for your diabetes. And I'm going, what? I kicked diabetes 5 years ago. What are you talking about? Well, sir, you can't kick diabetes. Well, I did. And so I'm going, I haven't eaten anything. How do I have high blood sugar? And well, I don't know. And jabbed me with some insulin. And I told him that, okay, that's the last time we're doing this. You can jab yourself if you want to, but we ain't jabbing me anymore with that shit. So it turned out the medicine that they needed to use, there was some complication with it 24 to 48 hours after I had the surgery. And so they had to give me this special medicine. Well, they gave me this special medicine and they gave me a dextrose drip. So I'm laying in hospital with a pure sugar. It's actually higher in glycemic index than white sugar, the dextrose strip. And because I wasn't eating anything, because I was sick as a dog, right? And they're all of a sudden showing up giving me insulin. I'm going, no, we're not doing that anymore. And so, anyway, long story short, the clear liquid, the white liquors are better for diabetes. I like Jack Daniels. Tennessee green apple, that's got that sugar in it, I can't have that. Raven, I think they may develop some approaches to counter the strong DB play. They could have used some screens and option plays. Well, they've never had to use them so far, have they? They just take the bite over there on the outside and they try to pass the guy off. It was a great defensive scheme. They just said, okay, I'm going to play you man to man. If you beat me, you beat me. And they couldn't beat him. And two, I kind of got the feeling that the reason Hooker held onto the ball so long was because he wasn't used to seeing them so closely covered, right? Because normally he sees them 20 yards past them, right? and when they got out there 20 yards down the field, they still had somebody with them. So, but I just want to be emphatic. And what I say is, hey, congratulations, Georgia. I don't talk trash to people unless they talk trash to me. And then I really enjoy it because it's fun. But I've not disrespected Georgia, except for the couple of buffoons who called in and talked to me like that. But congratulations to Georgia. I want to be very clear about that. You guys were the best team on that field today. And you may be the best guys on the field when we meet again. We'll see about that one when that one gets here. But man, everything worked. From the guy selling the hot dogs to that number 5 in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. Everybody had their A game today, and congratulations. You got to be so proud, and that's got to feel so good. So I don't think Nico is going to go anywhere. And you're right, from what I've seen. And there's just going to be all kind of wide receivers come here and all kind of running backs and all kind of anybody that wants to come here and be a superstar is going to come here. And I mean, from the defensive line to particularly in the defensive backfield, it's just a great opportunity. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize that he was playing under the same coach as Bryce Young. What is that? Modern Day in California? Is that where he is? No, he's in Stockton, right? I can't remember. I thought Bryce Young was from LA. Anybody know? Maybe not. I could look it up. Let me, I'm going to, hang on just a second. I'm just going to go look here and see what nasty comments I have. I got a lot of them. I probably should. Come on. That didn't. These are great. Look at this. That didn't age well. I mean, D Brown, you're right. Edward Branscombe. Score: Vegas 1, U 0. Yep, you're right. I missed that one. But is anybody talking about the 8 I didn't miss? No. Hey, I know you asked me to come back if Tennessee destroyed UGA, but I chose to come back when we destroyed you and your poverty team. Laughing my ass off, 1 week frauds. Yeah, well, go ahead. Go ahead. It's a free country. I believe in free speech. Well, this didn't age well. That must be the hip thing to say, huh? Well, 10 minutes of the game left. I feel it's more than safe to get on here and laugh at you Vols tards. Oh, how wrong you were. Georgia is still Tennessee's daddy. This was your only chance, considering after the season you're losing everyone. Go Dawgs. Rocky Top, you will never be sweet home to me. So there you go. That's how it goes. Let me find you. Where are you? Trying to find you. There you go. Oh yeah, I thought he was from out there in Diaz brothers land. Is that it? Modern day? That's where he's from, Remander? Oh, I got you. Different schools, same coach. Gotcha. And I did see the interview with him today, as a matter of fact. I want to try to get him on at some point. That'd be fun. Gotcha. All right, my brothers, we've been on for about an hour. I appreciate you being here and showing up. I wanted to be here and show up for the people to come go hee haw, hee haw. You know, I can take that. Letting your heart be troubled on this. We got a very good football team despite of this thing today. They'll turn it around. My guess is that it'll be a New Year's Six thing for them instead of the Final Four, simply because of the way they got beat. You know, that was kind of brutal. Thank you all, and thank you, Remander. I'll have that out probably on Monday. Yeah, the Mizzou game on Monday, and I'll also this week have the Ole Miss and Alabama game, depending on what happens here tonight. Is LSU still winning? Can't see its commercials are on, but anyway. Okay, my friends, I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Appreciate you subscribing, and I will see you next time. Adios. Good night.